One of the biggest masks that I see entrepreneurs wear, especially the ones that go through our program trying to perfect their messaging and content, is perfectionism. So what is that a mask of? Well, that's exactly what we're discussing in this episode. So if you're curious, keep listening.
Hi, I'm Brandon Lucero, and you're about to experience the new way to thrive in business, entrepreneurship, and life by leaning into who you are, what you love, and standing up for what you want to create. Get ready, because this is where we go against the grain, say no to outdated society norms, and we say yes to change in order to create a happier, more fulfilled world. Welcome to the New Generation Entrepreneur Podcast.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the New Generation Entrepreneur Podcast. Today we're talking about perfectionism and how it will absolutely kill your business, as if you didn't know that already. So here's the thing. Everyone wants to do better. Everyone wants to feel better, but hardly anyone is able or willing to make the change. And when it comes to messaging, when it comes to business, when it comes to content, it requires change. And what I want to talk about is perfectionism and how perfectionism is one of the things that will kill your business, but it's also one of the things that a perfectionist will hardly ever change. And so everyone always talks about, I want to do better. I want to feel better. I want better results, although I am not willing to change. And what I want to talk about today is why perfectionism is so hard for people to change, and hopefully bring some clarity around the things that you may not have fully realized yet, and how detrimental perfectionism is to your success, how much of a destroyer it is to your success. And one of the reasons why is perfectionism is literally rooted in fear. And as we know, as a successful business owner, it's fine to have fear, but we have to be courageous. We have to do things anyways. And the more we do them, even though we're scared, the more we do them, the more it becomes normal. And a lot of that fear will result in become is there because you're worried about the external world. And you hear me talk about that all the time. The external world. So people will think this and that and blah, 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 and everything has to be perfect. And what we fail to see, what perfectionism or perfectionists fail to see, is the beauty that action gives you. Because if you fully and truly understood the beauty in which action gives you, there's no way that you would be living in perfectionism. And David Burns said it best. He said, perfectionism is a badge of honor with you playing the role as the suffering hero. And this is something we see in business all the time, where people are perfectionists. I'm going to work on this. I'm going to get it perfect. It's going to look pretty. I'm going to say the right words and blah, 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 blah. And before you know it, you have a great looking brand online or whatever, great looking business that no one cares about, that no one knows about. And just to give you guys an example, we just wrapped up a launch that did $1.5 million or right around there. And we sent out a PDF. And as you guys know, shifting perspective and shift is a big word inside of our brand. And in that PDF, we forgot the letter F on the word shift. So you can put the two and two together of what we actually put in our PDF. And it went out to 25,000 people. And I still did $1.5 million. Do you know how many sales didn't come in because of that one typo? None. We literally didn't see a lack in sales because we had a typo in a PDF that went out to 1,000 people or 25,000 people. And what you start to realize is that when we look at the people that are successful and you go inside of their brands, you go inside of their content, you go inside of their video, you go inside of their systems, you go inside of their businesses, there are mistakes happening all the time. Nothing is ever perfect. And usually if you go inside of a business that is absolutely perfect, it's the business that doesn't have any results because they were too busy being perfect. And what you fail to see is that when we focus on perfectionism, we're letting fear control our lives. We're letting fear dictate, do we take action? Do we not take action? Do we put out this thing? Do we not put out this? Do we help people or do we not help people? And when you start to realize that perfectionism is nothing more than a fear-driven, selfish way to look at business, well, until you start to look at it from that lens, nothing will start to change. And you might be asking, well, what do you mean when you say selfish? And what I mean is, are you really going to be that business owner that is more worried about your own fear that it stops you from helping people that need you? Are you really going to put your own fear in front of you impacting other people? And some of you may say, yeah, because you're so driven by that fear. And if that is you, then why are you even starting a business? Why is that even on your mind? Why are you even trying? Here's the thing. As a successful business owner, at least I would call myself a successful business owner, I can tell you right now that life and your business, it's a chain, right? There's let's just call it 50 links. And what most people do is they think that they have to get link number 50 perfect before they can even get the first one out there. Everything has to be absolutely perfect. I have to know what the link number 50 looks like. I have to get my message right. I have to get the content right. I have to get the offer right. I have to get all of this stuff right. I have to envision what that end goal looks like. But the problem is that there are 50 different things, 100 different things that are going to come up that you aren't even seeing yet. And when you put things into action, you start to uncover what those are. So, for example, I believe the girl's name was Jen Rubio, who started a company, I believe, called Away Furniture. And I heard her on a different podcast, it's Away, not Furniture, Luggage. And I heard her on a different podcast, How I Built This. And her story, she went from school to internship to working at Johnson & Johnson. By the way, she had no idea, no passion about creating anything for luggage, nothing. She had no passion of creating a luggage-based business. Started going through her career, did the 9-to-5, started working at Johnson & Johnson, started working at all these different companies. She's ended up getting a social media job. And then she started doing social media at the company, got a different social media job, eventually got marketing executive jobs. And because she was traveling for these jobs, her luggage broke. And she realized that the luggage had some issues. And this idea of Away luggage suitcase became a reality. And the reason why I tell you that story is because Jen was not afraid of taking action, of moving jobs, of putting herself out there, of looking for better things, asking for that raise, asking for the job. She didn't know what the end goal looked like. And most of us do not know what our end goal looks like, yet we try to get everything absolutely perfect before we take action because we have this vision of what we think our life is going to be, what we think our business is going to be, of how we're going to operate, of what we're going to do. And we try to get it freaking perfect. But I can tell you right now, what you're envisioning, the thing you're trying to get perfect, will never be the end goal. You don't know what the end goal is. The only way to even get there is by taking action and making sure that things aren't perfect, or not waiting till things get perfect. And our philosophy inside of my company and the way I look at things is things should be about 70% perfect before we put them out there. 70% perfect is perfect. 100% perfect is failure. The other thing you might be failing to realize is that perfectionism, things that are perfect, it is a reflection, not reflection. When your version of what perfect is completely individualized, meaning that you're literally making up the definition of perfect. In fact, you probably haven't even labeled what perfect is. I'm willing to bet if you're a perfectionist, you have never sat down and said, okay, here's my definition of perfect. And once the video hits this, or once this website hits this, or once my message hits this, then I will put it out there because I know it's perfect. No. What you likely are doing is nitpicking every single thing, saying that it's not perfect because you're too afraid to put it out there. You're too afraid of comments and haters and what people are going to say and what people are going to think. You're letting the external world completely control your internal decision making. And you have never, I'm willing to bet you have never, I can almost guarantee that you have never sat down and defined to a T what perfect actually is. Because if you did, you would know how to hit it, what it needs to be, and you'll be able to get things out there. Because this isn't about getting things perfect. This is about you overcoming your fear of the external world. And as a business owner, that is a vital piece of growing a successful business. And it cripples so many people. So the question I have for you, if you're someone who's suffering from perfectionism, if you're that suffering hero that David Burns talks about, if you are that person, my question to you is, what are you afraid of? And is that something that you can deal with? Because if it's not, you really have 3 choices. Continue doing what you're doing and staying in the same exact place. Just quitting and moving on to something else, or moving forward. Those are really your 3 options. And doing the same thing, getting the same results, really isn't benefiting anybody. But moving on to something else where you could succeed at, that's better suited for you, might be a great option. Or moving forward so you can learn the lessons that you need to learn, get the experience, help the people that need your help. That might be a great option for you as well. But letting perfectionism control your life, control your business, is nothing more than fear. And that's an internal battle, struggle, or thing that you're going to have to overcome. So the one message, the one thing that I'm going to leave you guys with that has really helped me overcome the fear of other people and wondering what they're going to think and not taking action because of them. The one thing that I will always remember, actually 2 things. Number 1 is a message that I got from a mentor of mine, Jim Fortin, who said, Brandon, remember, humans judge. That's all they do. And you're going to be judged whether you post that video or you don't. You're going to be judged whether you go for it or you don't. You're going to get judged whether you start that business or you don't. So if it were me, I would rather be judged for going after what I want versus being judged for doing something that I don't want to do. And number 2, something that I've realized is, what is more important? Letting my fear control my message that will help people. And I've helped hundreds of business owners, if not thousands. In fact, when we just opened up enrollment to the Video 4X, I literally had someone message us today and just said, Brandon, I am so grateful and so thankful that you kept going in business and you didn't give up so that you could give us this program and this course, because it's helping me on so many levels. Had I worried about the fear, had I worried about the haters, had I worried about things getting perfect, that person would have never got to experience the course, which is what they needed. And so the last thing I'm going to leave you with is, what's more important? You living with that fear, not taking the action, or you having the courage and doing that and helping the people that actually need your help. And with that, I'm going to wrap up this episode. Be sure to leave a comment about a big breakthrough or something that some kind of perfectionism that you're going to leave behind. Either tag us on Facebook at I Am Brandon Lucero, or go into our Facebook group, the New Generation Entrepreneur Podcast, and let us know, what is one version of perfectionism you are going to leave behind today? See you guys in the next episode.
Hey guys, thank you so much for checking out another episode of the New Generation Entrepreneur Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, go below, hit the subscribe button, and make sure you click on that bell icon and get notified every time we drop a new episode. Now, if you're looking for the show notes, we have them linked underneath this video, as well as our social media handles and some links to free training and offers that we drop from time to time to help you guys even further. So go check those out if you're interested, and thank you so much for tuning in to the New Generation Entrepreneur Podcast.